My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
TVXYZ and I feel so. Yeah, live or power 97.9. Most of the YouTube or XYZ broadcasting and I feel so. Or Facebook and your power 979 and a TVXYZ Ghana. You know about you see visa and a education come member of parliament. Our name Kwaso Awoba. Emma Adesha was Sanregu and Persuaso. Incoming member of parliament. For now, what can I say? NDC parliamentary candidate. Yes. But they even say we're incoming member of parliament. Emma NDC war. Emma Adesha war Sanregu and Persuaso. Now, moments ago, near Dean Commodia Fa said your normal city. I was Sanregu. And I know what I did the chair said, a ba a honkeka, any modern modia, NDC, a born home modern party through. And Miami, I would do a polling stations are Obudi Ncho, what 20 about what you know. O much I say, who a quanya bet me, I first so no met me outside. I just saw sitting in, I just saw Incudiana Sabo Mafa, Ebio, Nanina, no Nina saw, a pulsar, Akoko so, global info analytics. And I feel so isa the year why on one you know, and also ada in the diatromo, you bet me at the iPhone. But now I say NDC ever more many a call said your registration exercise, you know, AC call na at the foot to be pa more 1 year. One bet me a year at the AC in Riemu equine, wabra year call 2024 about one. So once go on ahead with the point that you were making.
Yes. So yes. So
I had
yes. I'm on a course on it. So very soon when I come, I will only speak for you. Yes. So like I was saying, if you look at the registration and the just ended transfer exercise, they attempted to use the same 2020 model. And that was how come you saw a lot of casualties, confrontations across the country. Because what they simply do is that they know Sanargu, they cannot win. But they know they lost marginally, let's say in Savelugu. So they will move people from Sanargu to transfer their votes to Savelugu.
Okay.
And they will be able to win. So the people that will decide the mandate for the good people of Savelugu are not indigenous of Savelugu.
Wow.
But they have resources. They can easily convince people that, oh, come, I will give you jobs. Then they will give them resources, 200 Ghana, 100 Ghana. Then they will go to that constituency to transfer their
but this time round,
they were heavily resisted. And I want to salute the gallant men and women of NDC and all parliamentary candidates across the country. You heard it in news that in my constituency, for example, we did our own vigilance because you cannot rely on the independent player, which is the Electoral Commission or the security services, because in some instances they themselves were those colluding in this type of illegal activity. So we have to be extra vigilant to make sure that any person coming to transfer or register indeed stays in our constituency. And a lot of our PCs did similar things. For the first time, have you ever seen a transfer exercise about 16 days? Transfer exercise. How many people have indeed moved to a constituency that requires 16 days to transfer them?
Transfer exercise.
It was just, they know they've lost the presidential election. What they are now trying to do is to run a parliamentary campaign, meaning that once they secure majority of MPs, NDC will be weakened to even push itself for the presidential, because you might not be able to rule with.
What's the basis for that conclusion that they know that they've lost the presidential, hence running a parliamentary campaign?
Okay, so you see, parliamentary results normally come before presidential, because on December 7th or by 12 midnight, all PCs will be either called PC or MP that day. So you can tell the number of MPs NDC has and the number of MPs NPP will have.
That's right.
Based on that, you'll be able to fight more for the presidential. Let me give you a typical example. In 2020, when they realized that they were losing the majority of MPs in parliament, what did they do? They went to Ablekuma Central, murdered our election director. They went to Techiman South, murdered about 8 people. They went to DISASSOCIATES, whisk away the election director to the DCE's house for counting. So that is the level at which they look at these issues. So because, for example, if you are a presidential candidate and your party, you win presidency, and your party have less than NPP MPs, will you be comfortable?
Absolutely not.
So because of that, all polls, independent polls, no political skill polls, all polls indicates a one-touch victory for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. How can they whittle it down? Is by making sure that they steal the mandate of Ghanaians through the MPs.
And can the people of Ghana trust the NDC to protect their votes? Now, I'm going to show you a video of Mami Biano Kasafa or my Ghana Sikasemo and the way a normal boy day or my Ghana. At the tail end of the video, she has an advice for President Mahama as far as protecting their votes are concerned. Watch this.
By the way, I thought 46. If it can master, you do a sign by the way, that's all. 46, I look for by and you make one day for this. And now way 2014, and now we need 1.6. And now we need 12.6. Drumstick. Drumstick for your career, and now we need it. And now we are 8. And now we are 5.2. This, I want to hide. I want to try something to try and then I want to your food weigh 6 million. I beg the one. Now, you're back. John, my money, Mamma, if you are somewhere, they catch them. When you saw what they talk, Shammy, ye, and not way near my way to play with. Hey, your body watch the way into me. Who know on some quack, who wow. Who know on some quack, wow. Shannon will say, baby, ni power or no. Or no, your ordinary papa, who's over for this. Now I can't say papa, compare with you, per with you, per second, per one sure how you are. So come the wild banner. Nothing go to Kuakuma while the shame. Papa, that are many.
It in a foot of the Major Mahama, and the NDC no.
Yes.
Wakasafa, the economic hardship, skyrocketing prices when you go to the market, and then goes on to say that look, protect our votes.
Yeah.
Be prepared as you go into the elections. Can you assure the people of Ghana say Sana Mobe?
There is a saying in my language. I will say it in Dagbani before I translate. Meaning that it is only a fool's testicles they step on twice. We saw what happened in 2020. Yes, we saw what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
It will only be foolish on our part to repeat or to make the same mistake we did in 2020. And that is why I'm saying that the registration exercise and the transfer exercise, the vigilance level that the NDC exhibited will demonstrate to you how ready we are for victory. Look, what did they do actually in 2020? One was, first of all, they realized that from the presidential angle or the national, regional, and constituency campaign teams were intact. So they now moved to our polling agents. Do you get my point? So now, what we are saying is that to become a polling agent for NDC is like to get a job at Bank of Ghana. Because the future of this country rests in their hands. Look, there is no second chance for election. In fact, there is no campaign after election. The NDC is not ready to go to any court. The elections will be decided, won at the polling stations, and His Excellency President Mahama declared at the polling stations. Every polling station will be taken on its own. And fortunately for us, it is a collective responsibility. I always get this thing when I hear ordinary party people talk. Look, it's a collective responsibility. Garbage in, garbage out. If you do input-output matrix, they will tell you garbage in, garbage out. If the polling stations that President Mahama and myself cannot be present, you have to make sure that the right resource is entered at the polling stations. And we can assure them, once the right resource are inputted onto the pink sheet, it will be counted for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and all our pieces. This time round, NPP will never walk away with any indiscipline. And this one is, I'm serving a strong caution to the military and the Ghana Police Service. Power is transient. It might be with them today, it will shift tomorrow. Whatever you are doing, do it with conscience and with the knowledge that you are serving the Republic, not the NPP.
And you're serving this notice on the basis of doubt on their ability
not doubt
to keep the peace or what?
Not doubt. they have been orchestrated in some instances
Okay,
to
so
go
by who?
by the ruling government.
Evidence.
Look, in my constituency, there was a disturbance between the NPP and the NDC. The order came to shoot to kill the NDC.
Order from where?
From above, that's what they told us. When they came.
But the above does not point to anyone.
Oh, you see, in the military and the police, they use what we call the superior order rule. They don't just, a military or a police person cannot just shoot. Do you know that? In fact, during the IPAC meeting before the registration, it was agreed that no military officer should be near the polling station. And also, if a police officer is to come to a registration center, they must not weaponize themselves or they must not carry weapons.
Absolutely.
So for a weapon to come, it has been reversed. That decision has been reversed for that particular district office.
It has been authorized.
Do you get my point? So I'm saying that if two factions are having confrontation, one group is standing at one side, the other group is standing at the other side, and you come and you open gunshots directly at one group, what are you doing? And the other group too is standing there because it is the ruling party members. And that's what I'm saying, that the police should be professional in their duty. There is no other country we have. If this country destroys, the police themselves cannot hold peace.
Very well. Let's get to your issues, no? With regards to the economy, but no one you know a economy asam yaba ye common and kasa. The edika we video now. Ana ma me ne kasa na. Utum so oya bi wom wo bra manfo bre e de fa no ma bo and how and the prices no cost down the day nyina. Now, was also born Mohammedin. Does it in any way put pressure on more? At this time, I'm more opposition, more person more bar bemo, and I'm also a Jumano, a Bayer Diana.
No, you see, if we were living in a different island, we might not have appreciated where she's coming from. Fortunately, we are all living testimony to what we are going through, and we've done it before. So I don't think all we need right now is opportunity. In fact, thank you for this question in the first place. You see, when you are buying fuel, they don't look at your political color.
Absolutely.
Do you get it? When you are buying bag of cement and all those things, they don't look at your political color. They look at the fact that you reside in Ghana. So the economic hardship is a shared burden we are all going through. So it is a must we rescue this country. Look, let me begin with this point. Cost of doing business. That's what she's just talking about. You see, in every democracy or every emerging economy, one of the criteria that people use for foreign direct investment, in my PhD thesis, I'm doing it on a topic of foreign direct investments impact on domestic financial market and intra-African trade. There's a link. What should attract a foreign investor to land his investment as a destination hub in Ghana? What should be the criteria? First of all, there are so many emerging economies in Africa. Why should I choose Ghana over Togo? Why should Ghana be the destination for foreign direct investment? The reason they use normally, first of all, is your port services. Look, all the things she showed are imported items.
Exactly.
What is our import duty?
But you're to be the normal to video now to screen it so.
Good.
It's normal in
exactly. They are imported products. So first of all, what is the cost of importation? Import duty has been increased. You remember Baumia came and did benchmarking prices in 2019, thinking because of elections. It has been reversed. There was somebody who told me that he imported a goods worth $22,000 and was supposed to pay $10,000 import duty. This will add up to the cost. We'll call it markup. And it is about the basis of the markup that his profit margin will now be charged to the ordinary Ghanaian. That is why they are suffering. So if as a foreign investor, I look at the port cost, I look at VAT on electricity, I look at numerous corporate tax and other forms of tax. COVID-19 levy is still being paid when we are not experiencing COVID again. Even the China where COVID came, they don't collect COVID levy.
WHO now says it's no longer a global threat.
We are still paying it. We are paying special import duties. We are paying all forms of taxes and levies. Togo does not take any of them. So if you are a business person, let's say from Canada, and you want to invest, where do you think you invest?
Obviously Togo.
Obviously Togo. So because of that, imported products are so expensive. And the West corporate, apart from these nuisance taxes, the West Corporate is the CD, the performance of our CD. Look, my sister was going for Hajj. Ordinarily, if you had taken 16,000 Ghana cedis to your sister to add up to what she's having to go to Mecca and worship, she would have appreciated what you've done.
Yeah.
But that was just $1,000. Have you observed fuel stations are folding up? Valco and many other businesses are folding up because why? I've imported at a hedge rate. You know, they do hedging with their importers. So, for example, I've imported at a rate of 15 Ghana cedis to $1. And now I've come to sell. Going back, the CD has plummeted further to 16.
That's right.
So all the margins that I had made on each product, let's say I have made profit of 1 Ghana cedi on each product, it means I will now break even because I have to add that 1 Ghana profit margin to the initial cost I had to go and import the same product. That is the impact it has on businesses. So if somebody tells you that they are going through this, it is just the end. But what is the means to an end? The means to the end is that our post systems are becoming increasingly expensive. Now, how do we deal with that? These days, I don't like just talking problems without solution.
And that's why I was driving at that.
Look, let me give you this simple thing. President Mahama proposes something simple. Export-driven economy and import substitution economy. What I just initially said was that all the products I saw there were imported. Look, we have competitive advantage in certain areas that no other neighbor has. So, for example, Ghana was a leading producer of cocoa in Africa, in fact, even in the world.
That's right.
But now we are overtaken by Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
You know why? Because cocoa farmers are not getting value for money. Currently, they are offering their cocoa farms for galamsey because they know that it gives them ready market. How do we tackle that? When we know that cocoa has always been the backbone for our currency. Look, before President Mahama left, the syndicated loan gave us $1.03 billion. As we speak, since NPP came from 2019, they have never gotten up to that. How can you get that when your cocoa production has reduced from 1 million tons of cocoa now to about 400,000? How can you get 1 billion? Do you get my point? So if you know that cocoa is a major export commodity that can save you a lot of forex, that's number one. How come we don't have a cocoa processing plant? The one CMC had in Tema is collapsed. People that promise hot chocolate, or what did they call it?
Yeah,
hot chocolate for students. Now you've collapsed the CMC cocoa processing plant. So in order to ensure a complete value chain for export production, one, we must make sure that we reverse back to our original cocoa production. It will even further decline if NPP wins 2024. You know why? They have even scrapped the cocoa educational scholarship that they used to enjoy, and they are replacing it with something else. My point is that make cocoa production attractive.
So, under the current circumstances, should NDC come to power, will it be an easy thing to reverse?
First of all, pay the prevailing FOB prices. You see, the world is becoming very technological. When the world market decides this is how much they are paying for a ton of cocoa, the world market price is known. But the government, for their own motives, they come and pay cocoa farmers lower amount than the FOB prices. So if, for example, a ton of cocoa you pay at the world market price is $2,000, do you know that? But how much do they pay cocoa farmers here? 2,000 cedis. So I know something is $2,000. But I'm getting 2,000 cedis. Somebody wants to give me 500,000 cedis and get this farm for galamsey. Which one do you pay? Exactly. So we must be able to motivate cocoa farmers by paying them the realistic FOB prices. We call it the free on board prices. And it is known. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
The second thing we must also do, look, using military has never solved anything. Military is for external aggression. Not for internal. So community ownership is the way. I always believe that in our tribe, for example, Dagombes, there is a saying that niri dimonga the solo tumonga. To eat, if you work and leave me, it will pay me more than if you eat and leave me. we want to work.
Edidija.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what it simply means is that when a community chief, youth leaders, stakeholders, traditional NCC, local Ghana Education Service, local Ghana Information Services, local political parties, all of those things should form a committee to jointly own concessions and protect the land. Look, more education need to be done to the health hazards it have on their unborn children.
You mean Galamsey?
Yeah, exactly. No, so you see, the point is that if Galamsey is not checked, it simply means that more farmlands will be given to them.
Okay, and by extension, we'll lose
our cocoa value. So the first point, primary commodity that we need to export in order to maintain forex reserves is the cocoa that I talked about. And it's a value chain, right from production, giving them the necessary medicines to pump their farms and all those things, up to marketing of it, up to processing of it, and export further.
And so when the NDC talks about agro-business, is it just cocoa?
No, I'll come. The second primary commodity that we must also tackle seriously is cashew. Look, cashew is one of the commodities that is multifaceted in uses, and the world needs it. But what do we use it for? Either we cut down the cashew trees for other activities, bush burning, we do it for hunting. Government must have a cashew processing company like Cocoa Board. President Mahama proposes that. And it is a way of giving much attention to it like we've given to cocoa.
So in this case, cashew board.
Cashew board. In fact, before we left office, I was working at Cocoa Board, share unit. We wanted to do share board. Because we have an association called Cocoa Share. Cocoa Share Nut Farmers Association.
But has Cocoa Board proven to serve the interests of farmers, for which you would want to have share nut board or cashew board and the rest? Have they proven to serve the interests of farmers?
Until recently, Cocoa Board is the same cocoa board that yielded the 1 million tons for us. Until recently. So my point is that sometimes I don't have issues with state institutions. The people that make it bad are leaders. Do you get the point? So the first primary responsibility we have as citizens is to remove this government and do a proper resetting. So once it is resetted, Cocoa Board will resume back to its normal setting. The second point I want to talk about is, like I talk about the share and the cashew. Now, do you know what is causing this alien city to plummet further?
Tell us more.
Is the fuel.
The fuel?
Yes.
Fuel prices?
Yes. Let me come there. Look, the last time I sat on your studio, I said that if I was a government, I would have done what we call the fixed exchange rate regime for some selected sectors of the economy.
Hey, is that not dangerous?
No, for some selected.
Okay.
You see, government has left the importation of crude in the hands of BDCs. Often, MPA grants licenses to several OMCs to open fuel stations. It means that they will need fuel. Before President Mahama came to establish the Atuabo gas processing plant, we were importing, it has saved us $300 million annually. That is on only light gas. What do you think a proper functioning oil refinery will do to our economy? Recently, the World Bank gave us $638 million from our third tranche. In 2 weeks, it got finished by BDCs. You know why? Because they import crude. And once they want to import, they don't import with your Ghana CD.
That's right.
They need the dollar.
Dollars.
There will be pressure on your CD. Because they will, when they are selling it at their stations, they sell it in CDs. So they have to convert the CDs that they've sold into dollars. That makes your dollar, your CD
currency
very weak. And that's how come now Ghana is among the top 3 currencies in the world with poor ratings. So my point is that if you know, there's a saying also in Dagbani that if you don't wash a sore, you don't apply medicine. The basic problem is that we demand so much dollar to import crude. If Dangote, an individual, can open a refinery, if in 60 years ago, Kwame Nkrumah thought at that time we didn't have oil, that we needed our own refinery. How dare we as a country? We have large quantity of oil. After President Mahama discovered 2 more oil fields for you people, Yet you cannot make TOR a functioning body. In fact, it took private individuals to even come and tell us that we needed it. Up till now, from 2018 till now, we haven't even done a single block towards the construction of a refinery. We've paraded the TOR with our party boys. They've squandered resources. It's now on its knees. It hasn't processed even a single crude in the last 8 years.
Yeah. So as we are looking forward, you have a 4-year mandate. How are you going to get TOR or other refineries to work?
Good.
And then by extension, improve upon the strength of our city?
So first of all, that's why I said you must induce investment. I told you that I'm doing a work on foreign direct investment impact on your domestic market. Look, how did we get Ameri? Something they condemned, now extended, now it's in Kumasi, I'm told.
Yeah.
Look, people are willing and ready to invest in our petroleum sector. In fact, it's one of the sectors that has surety.
The Ghanaian petroleum
sector. There's future in it.
I thought people were leaving. I thought investors were leaving.
You know why they are leaving? Regulatory frameworks, bureaucracies, political witch huntings. So, for example, a contract awarded during NDC government, now they are in charge. They witch hunt them out, and they bring their own people.
Yeah, but that's a situation that happened in a country called Ghana. So, should there be a change in government? What's the guarantee that the narrative will change?
No, it has to. You see,
it has to is not the same.
No, it will change. Let me tell you something.
Right.
When you have the hindsight of having held something and lose it and getting it back, you will be different. Do you get what I'm saying? President Mahama has seen it before. He knows the mistakes he did. Coming to get it, and then look at the struggle he's going through to get it once again. When he gets it, to be different. So I'm just saying simply that all we need, you can't tell me that you are spending over $3 billion on refined oil a year, and yet you don't plan on getting oil refinery. Does it make sense to you?
It doesn't.
Are we so poor that we cannot set up? Look, Dangote own is just less than $613 million oil refinery. Are we saying that Ghana, we are so broke we can't afford
I
that?
get a feeling you're saying beyond Tema oil refinery, we can set up others.
You see?
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. In fact, the oil refinery setup should even go to Western region. We should go to Western region.
Reason
being that, one, we have what we call localization of factories, setting of factories. You set it closer to where your primary raw material is coming from. And the primary raw material, bulk of it is coming from Western region. That's why people were proposing that GMPC headquarters should be moved to Western region. The reason was because of localization. So my point is that to address this CD free fall, and it will fall further, let me tell you the truth, because the IMF told the government of Ghana that they should let the CD fall to its natural position. You know, they normally use short-term liquidity measure.
Yeah.
Bank of Ghana just pump in dollars for BDCs to go and buy, then they are cash strapped. When they need, they will go and borrow. Now we're out of the capital market. We can't borrow recklessly like we used to do because we're under a program.
are coming there.
Do you get my point? So if you are able to set up a proper refinery, working refinery, in fact, that builds on inclusivity, not party foot soldiers. You must build it on competence. It must be on merit, and it must include all relevant stakeholders in the industry. Look, we'll be able to achieve significant amount of foreign reserve. And the third and the most important one I want to talk about on primary export has to do with our gold. Look, we have basic things when you are doing licensing, prospectus, and all those things, recognizance licensing. One area has to do with government ownership. So we have the carried interest, the additional carried interest, and the royalties. My point is this. We have always, Ghana, relied on carried interest. Over 60 years.
What's a carried interest?
Carried interest means that, yes, I know that there is gold here, but I don't have the capacity to mine it. I've brought investors there. Yes. Then I tell them that out of the 100%, I will take 10% for being the owner of it. Then you take your 90%.
Just as we recently wanted to do with lithium.
Did you get my point?
Is that what you
Yes.
said?
So my point is that, look, are you really, let's ask ourselves this basic question. 60 years ago, we've been doing 5 to 10% carried interest. Up till now, we don't have the capacity to own our mineral rights.
Do we?
What is so special? Even galamseyers can mine. Do you get my point? They don't do that because they own concessions.
But we are talking about responsible mining.
So my point is
that
that
I'm saying no to me yes,
no, I'm saying that
Fidia can say no more.
I'm saying that if you improve on healthy community-based mining, that's why I said the ownership of these mining processes should be all inclusive and owned by the community. My point is that if galamseyers can mine deeper in deep water, bring gold and sell and you call it illegal, yet you are willing to give 100% of our gold reserve to foreigners and take only 13%. In this case, galamseyers will take 100% and to stay in Ghana. Repatriation of profit is also part of our reason why the city is not working. Because most of this extractive industry, the profit doesn't stay in Ghana. After they pay their corporate taxes, they shift it back to their owners. Because these are just branches. We call it the parent companies there, and these are subsidiaries. So once they make their profit, it doesn't stay with the subsidiaries.
So the solution will be.
So the solution is we must begin to reevaluate all new concessions that we discover. It must be properly owned, 100% Ghanaian.
How do you do that without deterring investors?
You see, that's why I said that new concessions. We already have existing concessions that we are doing partnership with. But all new discoveries, Ghana, we have what we call personal knowledge. So are you saying that when foreigners come, they don't do transfer of technology? We should have learned from now. At least we are not just following them to be self-reliant on them forever. We brought them because they have technical know-how we don't have at the point. Now we've been there with them for about 50 years. We should have learned something. Transfer of technology. We must be able to own our assets.
Can same be said for the exploration area? Oil exploration area.
It's a new area that requires heavy investment. That's why I didn't really talk much about it. And I only said that one thing we must do is a refinery in that regard. That's why I didn't talk more on the extraction. But with lithium, gold, diamond, bauxite, iron, manganese, and all those things, Ghana must have an extractive board for those things. Not the comedy that they brought with Giziad, or what's the name that they put, the MP for Yendi in, Farouk Ali Muhammad. So my point is that ownership is key. If you don't own something, you don't direct how it should go.
Okay, couple of messages are coming through. Now, wabra ye kwe no making can be dignity rights when what don't say na the democracy classroom ya said up. Let me bring in this issue of our both domestic and external debt exchange program.
Good.
And how that portends as a challenge possibly to the incoming administration. How would you deal with it? I mean, our current debt stock, as we all know, stands around 658.6 billion Ghana cedis. That's a huge jump from the one that he left before exiting. But the current situation is we've been locked up from the market. We are dealing with haircuts and exchange program. How would you be able to sail the country through in a situation of that magnitude?
All right. So first of all, let's analyze it from the cost of it. We all know the cost of where we are now is because of ballooning public debt, reckless borrowing from the external market and the domestic market. So look at something. You borrowed over $3 billion from the capital market. Now you are locked out. Do you know that for the fact that we're blacklisted from the international market, we wouldn't have gone to IMF. We would have continued on the borrowing spree. Yes.
Let's say, Ebra Yaka say, Yamoy Busian Biono. And one year who buy and also say, IMF.
Yes.
Wow.
But for that, we would have still been going there. Now, domestically, when they blocked us from the external market, we came and crowded out businesses. Because when government issues treasury bills, And commercial bank also has a coupon on their fixed deposit. The most sure. Look, I studied economics throughout. Even I'm still studying part of it in my PhD. Until recently, under Akufo-Addo, governments issued bonds or securities have been the most secured. We call it risk-free assets. So there are three categories of individuals we have. We have the risk neutral, the risk averse people, and then the risk loving. Risk averse means perils. Risk neutral is I don't care if it's there or not. And then risk loving are those who love it. Now, government issued security has always been sure because they will pay at the end. Until recently, that we knew that even government bonds are not safe. So the point is this: you borrowed so much that you are not able to pay your creditors. That is what led us to the debt exchange program. And it was not their decision. It was the decision of the IMF. Now, government of Ghana, through our help, however painful it is, and however mandatory they've imposed it on us, through the Dachi bonds, the extra PLC, and that of the government locally issued bonds, they have cut our hair by 137 billion Ghana cedis.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you 4 impact it has on us. First of all, the reputational damage to our country.
Yeah.
For everybody to know that we can't pay our debt. Yes. What reputational cost? People are not factoring in the reputational cost it has, even on the next government.
That means Ghana serious.
Exactly. If you bring your money, they won't pay. Exactly. That is the reputational damage it has on our economy.
Wow.
And even President Mahama, when he comes, he will suffer that.
Wow.
Because until he does a lot of prosecutions on why we got there, for people to take the NDC government serious, they will not come. That's reputational damage.
A lot of prosecution.
Exactly. People led us here. Is that not it? Haven't you seen the world most expensive pit in the world? People led us here. People took commissions to a tune of $158 million for just borrowing $3 billion for us. People led us here. They must answer.
But were they done under the remits of the law?
You see,
did they do anything illegal?
You see, we use a parliamentary democracy. So when it goes to parliament, you know the first term. Their first term, you know what happened now. 106 against 169. You have your say, they will have their way. So that one, the judgment, there's no delayed justice. The judgment will come. So President Mahama must begin to initiate serious prosecutions and accountability measures. Not through witch hunting, but state agencies must work to make sure that whatever led us here are accounted for. The second part.
And what impact would that have on our reputation if President Mahama succeeds with that?
So what it means is that foreign investors will have confidence that states can protect their investments. You see, any investment that you are putting, if you do international economics, they will tell you that what influences international foreign direct investment. They will say, 1 is the local country regulatory frameworks. 2 is safety of their investment, peace and stability. So these 3 will guarantee investors that when you invest your money into a country, it is protected. So once they see that President Mahama is really serious and committed about making sure that accountability is key, they will know that their investment will be guaranteed. The second impact it had on us as a country is the loss of foreign direct investment. Apart from reputation, that Ghana is a country that don't pay their debt, will investors come now? Knowing very well that we can't pay our debt, they won't come. So check something. This government in 2022, when they were saying that they will launch what they call Youth Start or something, they were expecting $538 million foreign investment.
True.
Only 93 million came. Why? Because
confidence
has gone down.
Do
you get the point?
Wow.
The third thing, let's look at its impact on banks. Because banks work as an intermediary between money holders and money borrowers. government, through, we make deposits in bank. The banks use our money in buying government securities to also get returns on their investment, and then they can now pay their depositors. Is that not? Now, ask yourself this. Government has reduced coupon payment through the debt exchange program from 19.1% to 9% on banks. Do you get the point? And what government has even advanced to commercial banks, they've reduced the duration of payment from 13 years to 8 years. How can they be private sector drive? And that is how come manufacturing sector, industrial sector grew by negative 2.2%.
Wow.
Because there is no enough loanable funds for private firms to acquire. Because liquidity and solvency issues are affecting the banks. They don't have money. So watch something. These days, if you want $1 million Ghana cedis from a bank, they have to call their headquarters. And they have to also call Bank of Ghana.
And Zana when you're 1 million.
Yes. It is because loanable funds are not there. Those days, under President Mama, we have their normal, require minimum reserve. You live with the Bank of Ghana. In case of, we have what we call moral situation. In case you are in debt, they will come to your aid. Then we have what we call excess reserve. It is through the excess reserve that they used to loan. Now, because of liquidity challenges, they don't even have enough excess reserve for them to even loan to private sector.
Mami, you to break because you're branding Yaswan.
Yeah, okay.
It's within the amount of some year for your economy. Once in a clear and it's from 2026.
Yeah.
You carry the upo.
Yes.
Yes. How would you be able to implement a normal baby model, and how would a 24-hour economy be a game changer?
Good.
Within
all these problems. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but before, let me use 30 seconds to do. The last effect it also has is on household. I talked about its impact on government, reputational damage, its impact on the business community. Now, household, how is its impact on household? Pensioners. Our over 60-year-old mother and father, they use these pension monies to buy medicine to survive. Yeah. If government, you are so wicked, even in this debt exchange program, the first vulnerable group you shouldn't have touched are our mothers and fathers who are home. After they've served this country, they've paid their dues, and they cannot rest well. So that is its impact on household. Now, you asked a very simple question, and you said people, I don't know whether people don't know how to explain the 24-hour economy.
And that's
look, it is the easiest thing to explain. And it is the easiest way out for Ghana. They are not saying that, first of all, the 24-hour economy is a novelty or it is compulsory. That is why we call it is a deliberate policy intervention. And its objective is just to create enabling environment. I just told you that manufacturing and industry sector has dropped by 2.2%. How do we create the enabling environment for productivity to go up, for well-paying jobs to come back, and for export-driven economy, and for import substitution economy? That is all. Now, President Mahama is saying that for private sector to thrive, it must come with sufficient and necessary and efficient public service delivery to attach to the private sector. The objective of the 24-hour economy should have just been for the private sector because they are into manufacturing, agro-processing, and they can create jobs for us. Now, President Mahama, this is where we come in. Under the public sector, he is saying that the port system must work. Are you saying that you can clear goods at the port by 12 midnight?
No.
Even 7 p.m. can you clear goods?
At this time, Debbie.
And do you know that ports are charged daily? Once your goods stays more, you pay more. Somebody is saying that real-time services, once your good lands into our shores, it is cleared. What is so difficult about this? So it means that business communities are assured that once their raw materials come through our port, it must be cleared on time. So President Mahama is also saying that under the public sector, he's looking at customs because you cannot do port services without the efficient custom services. Is it possible? They work at the ports. So it means that double workers, triple workers. So port and customs go hand in hand. Then we talk about our passport services. Go to the passport office right now. When you take your cameraman there and see the crowd there, even though they are talking about paperless system, go there and see.
Online registration.
Guru boys are still there, and although they still charge exorbitant prices at the passport office, all is because we think that if we don't go at this, I won't get. Let the system be so such that anytime you walk into some selected passport offices, you can get, and you see how efficient it will become. And many other public services. Now, the private sector, the impulse to go onto the construction sector, the mining sector, and the extractive sector, it will go to agro-processing industry, financial institutions, all those things. How would the help come? It will be in form of what? So somebody was telling me that you can't force people. And I said, you don't need to force it. We have what we call induced demand. You know that if you sign on to the 24-hour economy, you get tax incentives. You know that you get cheaper and reliable power through the smart metering process. You know that you get security support. Do you get it? You get financial support through the Ghana Exim Bank. Why wouldn't you come and sign?
But all these are money. But this is coming at a time where you start paying your debt.
That is why.
How are you gonna deal with that situation?
Despite all this conundrum we find ourselves in, you still see their lifestyle. This government. Have you seen their lifestyle? It tells you that there is still money. There is still money. Just that priorities differ. Whilst we will prioritize creating value and wealth for people, they prioritize sharing, property owning party. So if they come to my constituency, we don't have roads. The Kulinyavila road is not good. The Malapalisi, Doshangaran road is not good. And most of the roads are not good. But they will come and share bulbs. They will come and share cloth. They will come and share Maggi. They will come and share this. They believe in sharing, but not the destiny of this country. So that's how come WAEC has threatened that if they don't release 90 million Ghana cedis to them next week, WAEC will not be conducted. BEC exams will not be conducted. That is how come it took a student to say that our allower, when is it coming? And it has to take them to pay 4 or 5 months of student allowance. Where did the money come from? It means that there is still money sitting in the coffers of this country because the Bank of Ghana has become solely debt distressed because of this government. So the money is there, just that we have different priorities.
Very well.
That's what I was saying.
As we wrap up, messages Kakrebi Chaka. We'll say, Kwame, good morning. The justice system of every country is very important so to assure citizens of their safety in governance system. Everything shows that our trust in the justice system is at an all-time low, and the system must be reset. President Mahama must not come and be timid about the judiciary system. Yes, he began. We also say, Kwame, please ask him the essence of establishing another refinery when we already have one we cannot even manage. It would have been just a few seconds now.
Yes. So, like I said, I'm not even suggesting that what we have is just a building, not a refinery. We don't have a refinery now, do we? Do we have a refinery? It's just a building we have.
Oh, it's not a refinery.
It's not a refinery. So we are saying that site it closer to where Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's time, there was no oil in Ghana. So the idea was to go and buy crude. And that time, there was no commercial viability in most regions. So it was centered in Accra, Kumasi, because those were the trading hubs. Do you get my point? So they sited it in the capital, so that when you bring the crude itself, you refine and distribute it to the country. I'm saying that we are fortunate now to have our own oil reserves, and it is situated in a particular region. It's simple. Localization of industries, the primary concern is that set it closer to where the raw material is. That's what I'm saying.
And now work out.
And then you can even pick the thing you call refinery to that place. You can also even call it national refinery. Simple. Not Tema oil. National refinery. Embodiment of the country. Let's signify ownership of our own property. Now, before I leave, we have a massive health walk
and screening
exercise coming on Saturday in Tamale. In fact, the one who is organizing it primarily is Sharaf Mahama, the son of the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana, and then the National Youth Wing, the regional regional executive committee, and they've invited all and sundry from the 18 constituencies and beyond to come participate with us as we walk towards victory. It is my expectation that this work will be massive to send a signal to the NPP that as for Northern Region, it is our stronghold. And this year...
It isn't Baumia's.
No, okay. This year, Baumia can never win Northern Region. Never. This year, we will win it massively for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He has paid us his due. It is left for us to reciprocate. In 2016, he gave us the majority of appointments. If we don't thank him by rewarding him with the highest votes, we have done a disservice to him and the NDC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ataisa.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.